Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Dojo Pro review with myself and Ryan. Before we get started, it is currently, as of this recording, June 21st. Right now, the Speaking Out movement is happening on all social media platforms. And it's just a short address that we would like to commend the bravery of those who have experienced sexual abuse within the wrestling community. Um, this is a difficult time to be a fan, but we commend those who are bravely speaking out. So, thank you. With that, let's talk about happier things. This is a great 2020, isn't it? Right? Great 2020. Uh, you think it would have been just bad with the murder hornets?
Common? Do we still need to worry about those?
They're we only have to worry about it because of the bees. Because bees are they don't harm us. The murder hornets don't harm us.
Mm-hmm.
But they are notorious for
Mm-hmm.
taking out bee colonies. And if anybody knows about
Bees.
if anybody knows about the bee situation, if we don't have bees, we're pretty screwed because, pollination and our food supply and everything. I mean, they were screwed because we were using toxins to kill the bees because we were trying to kill the other pests. Now they're even more screwed.
Mm-hmm. Don't have to worry, but we should really be worried.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. They affect us indirectly, technically. All right. So besides,
Well, because I saw that guy, that Coyote Peterson guy, get stung by one of those. He didn't seem like he was having a good time.
no, I mean I've seen him in. I've seen a few videos of this man getting stung because who? Why would you? Yeah, he's crazy. He's real crazy, and one of these days he's going to die. He's just gonna.
Well, I mean, everyone's gonna.
Yeah,
die.
but he's gonna die because of his job. All right. Anyways, episode 3, Wheeler Yuta versus White Belt. This is gonna have to be of the 3 so far. This is my most favorite promo package between these two. This was like far beyond the other 2 that I've watched so far.
Shorter as well,
very
right?
short, very short. This episode was only clocks in about 19-20 minutes. That's how short this episode is. I think the next one will be longer against Corey, but I've seen Wheeler before. What are your when we spoke near the end of the episode last time? You didn't recall if we ever saw Wheeler Yuta, and you did not know of Wheeler Yuta. Did this ring any bells when you saw him? Or do you still not?
Absolutely
okay.
none.
That being said, first impressions of Wheeler Yuta.
I think the package. This was probably the best one of the 3 so far. And but that being said, they don't give you a whole lot of information about him, other than he's young.
Yes, he is 21 at the time
And he's
of this
wrestled
filming. Sorry.
all over the world,
Yes.
being Canada and Japan. It was like, okay. But I think it had like the tightest story, I think, of all of them, which probably helped. I mean, it was so short, but you have, this guy's standing up for his buddy, and the other guy, is a dick.
Yes.
And he's like, okay,
Yes.
like, good to
This
go.
is good. The promo package went back and forth, very similar to the last promo package between the 2 wrestlers. And actually, we did have a confrontation near the end when I believe Yuta called him a coward or something of the sorts, and then Gunner was just like, "What the hell you say?" And then they has fight.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
I mean, he really should have called him the People's Coward, but still, yeah, I thought that was well done.
yeah,
Yeah, I was a big fan of
it
this one.
seemed a lot more organic. Definitely so. And yeah,
Even Gunnar Miller came off way better in this one, I think, than his initial. That seems to be a recurring theme so far in these 3 episodes. Is that first impression's not great, and then your second promo is better.
Yeah.
You
I
know?
also thought that Wheeler came out as he's pretty articulate, like, or he's more expressive than Ku was. You understood who he was right away, and he is definitely your baby face of this episode.
He, like that fire in him, or he was going to stand up for what's right, and yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, very. I found him to be well spoken, and yeah. So yeah, I like we thumbs up for this promo package. So
Well, I did have one question though. They show him in like his gear or whatever. Is he like a cyber ninja? Like, is he supposed to be like cyberpunk or something?
I think he gets the cyberpunk deal because he wears that like LED gas mask, and he has all the like electronic stuff on his patterns on his gear. That being said, now that we can segue into the entrances. Gunnar Miller coming out with his slow. Do you think they were trying, like, now that I've listened to his theme a few times, I'm sure they've given them in-house themes. Do you think they're going with like a slow Terminator style theme, like I am like Terminator 1, I am the bad guy kind of deal?
That a bit. Like they're definitely portraying him as this powerhouse. Like he's not there to be flashy. Like he's there to grind you into the mat.
Yeah. So yeah, the music definitely reflects that. And then then Yuta comes out with his cyberpunk stuff. Lights, LEDs, smoke, cyberpunk. It's all right. It's all right.
It's like Sector and Cyrax and these cool cyber ninja.
Yeah. The thing is, now that we are talking about this 2 years later, was Mustafa Ali wasn't doing was he around in WWE 2 years ago? I gotta check because I just want to know when he started doing that cybernetic stuff. Mustafa, because he's the person that besides the Tokyo Cyber Squad of Stardom, but more people would know Mustafa Ali than the Tokyo Cyber Squad. He joined WWE in 2016 in the Cruiserweight Classic. I don't think he was, if I recall, I don't think he was rocking the cybernetics at that point.
Fucking the Iron Man light up hand thing.
I want to say that he started doing that after he got onto the main roster, and not the Cruiserweight Classic. Because if he did that during the Cruiserweight Classic, I would have remembered that. I think I would have remembered that.
Yeah, I don't remember seeing that because that's the one we watched together, right?
I would.
I don't remember seeing that.
Cedric Alexander and. How far you've all gone down.
They're gonna make a comeback.
They're on main event.
That's it. You always want to be the main event.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So after the entrances, we start with the match. Yuta gets surprisingly, a lot of offense in this match. It's pretty back and forth. I have about 2 pages of notes on the match itself, and I'm just glancing over them right now. And yeah, Yuta gets a lot of offense. The commentators make sure to talk a lot about his speed. They make sure to talk about a lot about his style, his grit and determination because his friend got TKO'd last episode. Um, what did you? Yeah,
Wish in the last episode that they like they sold up how brutal the KO
yeah,
was. You know what I mean? Like in this episode, they made a big deal about how could you believe he would do something like that, blah blah blah. But like when he won that match, in the last episode, it was just kind of like, oh okay, like the ref called it, and like that's it. Like I wish there was a bit more like outrage at the time.
mm-hmm.
Like I don't know who does it, how you express it, but like because when that ending happened, I just kind of felt like, oh, that was the ending. I didn't feel like, oh, this guy's the worst.
They definitely. I agree with you. They definitely played that up during this episode. Like I felt the same way. I felt the exact same way as you did. Didn't think this was such a big deal, and now it's a big deal. And do you think the ending is scripted for sure. Do you think they were thinking about that during the episode when they were recording, or and if so, do you think it just didn't come across the way they wanted it to?
I think I think that was definitely what they had in mind going through all that, but I just don't think they knew how to sell it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how I would do it. I just know that's what I'd want.
I feel like maybe they should have told the crowd, hey, at the ending, like, boo really loudly. Maybe I'd even go as far as throwing something into the ring, like an empty water bottle or something. Have people scream out you're trash. I didn't. Yeah.
Well, thinking right now, like I'm trying to remember the end when Gunnar Miller won last week against Kevin. He gets interviewed after, right?
Yes, he does.
Guy get in the ring, and then he basically like told him to scram or whatever.
Yes.
Like I feel like there you could have had that guy be a bit more like upset or shocked.
Yeah, the interviewer isn't exactly the most charismatic person in the world. Then again, like a lot of interviewers are a little more less expressive, which kind of sucks because I understand they want to make the wrestlers the focal point, but you can't put like I'm gonna go back to WWE. Not every interviewer has to be a freaking robot. They could show some some semblance of personality. It doesn't always have to be that way. But yeah, it did not come across that way at the end. But yeah, they were really hyping it up. The first sequence was pretty cool. Yuta, when he gets in the ring, immediately confronts Miller, gets in his face, does his pose, and then they lock up. Miller uses his strength to throw him down into the corner. There is like a brief confrontation where Miller does like the kind of like how when two people are about to fight, they start pushing at each other. So he does like the push, and then Wheeler just slaps him in the face. And then there is a shoulder tackle. Wheeler gets multiple strikes in, goes off the ropes, does an arm drag, and then does a low drop kick to the shins, low kick to the head. There is a 1 count when Wheeler pins. I've actually counted how many times there were counts in this thing. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There are seven pins before the official pin. So 8 pins in total technically. I've never actually counted how many pins are in a match before. I should start doing that. Because I felt that, like, this was a lot of pin attempts. And that one especially, it was very early. It was only a 1 count to show how, tough Miller was. But now that I say the number out loud, I'm like, isn't that a lot of pin attempts? I know there's a lot of false.
It's just about wearing the other guy out,
Yeah.
right? You know you're not going to get the pin, but you have to force him to use the energy to kick out.
Right, because it does take energy to kick out. I gotta. It still baffles me that kicking out takes so much energy, and I put that in like quotes because I don't know how. I've never wrestled anybody in real, right? Like I've
Mm-hmm.
never like pinned somebody. I don't know how much effort it is to kick out. I don't.
I mean,
I assume it's a lot though. Big guy.
you got someone usually of your kind of equal weight, so you're trying to just push all that weight off of yourself. That's not always easy.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Okay. All right. So there's a one count after Gunner is kicked in the like. There's like a kick to the head. Then there is a couple of mud hole stomps in the corner. There's an Irish whip. There's some like weird. So this is the one I wanted to talk about. So do you remember in the show there's like a weird submission? Like I thought Yuta was gonna get Miller into a not a figure four. He crosses his legs and then kind of just uses one.
I think it's an Indian death lock,
Okay.
like the one where he kind of snaps back. Yeah, I think that's. I could be completely wrong, but I believe that was and that name may not be politically correct anymore. I don't even know. This is but I think it was something similar to that.
Yeah, I'm looking at a few of these. I did not think did he put him in the crossface? Because I have a picture of Drew Gulak doing the crossface Indian deathlock right now.
I don't believe so, because I think he gets the legs and he does like the snap, like backwards, like he takes like almost like a bump, and then he like stands up and like readjusts his legs to do it again, like almost like it was more of just like going for the snap on the knee.
Yeah. 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 I guess Drew Gulak does that a lot. Well, he is a submission master, so I can imagine people doing that a lot. I mean, it's not
Triple H using it for a little bit too,
okay.
like well, never as like a finisher or anything, but like it was something he would go to.
Yeah,
every
I
once
see.
in a
I
while.
see that when I do the Google search for the Indian deathlock. I guess it's. Well, I mean, if it's from India, I don't think it's from. I mean, did Kali ever use it? Did Kali do anything?
Kali had a chop. Like that's what he did.
And I can't think of like if it was ever in. I'm trying to think of all the Indian wrestlers. You know, the Singh brothers, Great Khali, Jinder Mahal. There weren't that many. I can't remember them doing an Indian deathlock. Ever. I don't know. I don't know. I am not a wrestling historian. Maybe we should just get Meltzer on the line and ask him, "Hey, did any actual Indian wrestlers actually ever use the Indian deathlock?" I don't know. All right, so he does that Indian deathlock. Miller grabs a rope to break the submission. Yuta chops in the corner. There's a whip into the corner, and Wheeler comes out. Wheeler tries a top rope maneuver. I noticed here that he was waiting a while for Miller to get in position to catch him and do the belly to belly.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was maybe there was like a weird cue or something. I thought it just took longer than usual. It looked like. And just you can stop me at any time when I'm reading off my notes.
Times where I felt like they just were a little out of sync. You know what I mean? Like maybe that, or I don't think you've got to it yet. When he does a flip over the top rope while Gunner's outside.
Yeah, the top rope. Yeah, the sushi. I'm getting to that really quick. So Let's see. Yeah, I'll get to that real soon. So Miller rams him into the corner repeatedly, levels Yuta with a couple of strikes. He does a German.
Yuta's face. I thought his facial expressions in this match were great. There was one time where Gunner smacked him in the face,
He looks out of it. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That was actually really good.
yeah.
Um, and then Miller, kind of like I don't know what that's called. So maybe you can educate me on this. So it's when a large wrestler usually tosses a smaller man, and just completely like pancake flips him over him. So they land on, sometimes the
Mm-hmm.
more athletic wrestlers can land on their feet, but Utah didn't. He landed on his back. So he like, he tosses them into the air, or he uses a momentum to toss the person into the air. They flip behind them completely under, take a flat back bump. I don't know if that's a move. I just called it a pancake flip.
Yeah, I don't know what you'd call
Okay.
that.
Well, pancake flips him. Miller covers, gets the 2 count. Miller does like the submission headlock, and then power slams. Converts it into a power slam. There is a springboard drop kick from Yuta and a top rope suicida. That's where you were talking about where they might not have that much
Yeah,
chemistry.
I don't know. It almost looked like he caught him in a power bomb, because like Yuta takes all of that
Yeah.
landing, like
Oh
all of
yeah,
it,
yeah, yeah. It's
and but they didn't make it seem like it was really a reversal either. So it was just kind of like, oh, so was he just not like close enough to catch him, or
I don't know.
that I felt that one a little bit when it
Yeah.
happened. It's like, oh,
All right. There's a crossbody. There's a crossbody. Yuta does a crossbody, covers for 2. Yuta then hits Miller's head repeatedly. Miller spine busters him, covers for 2. Miller tries to spear, but Yuta does that leapfrog. Um, Yuta
mm-hmm.
slams, 2 counts. Yuta then jumps from the top rope. Miller catches him in the spear. Jackhammer tries to repeat what he did last episode by not covering him.
You know,
And then actually Yuta wins with a roll up. No, it doesn't win with a roll up. Yuta attempts to do the most devastating move in all of wrestling, the roll up, but only gets a 2 count.
mm-hmm.
And then Yuta does that elbow drop and wins. I do not like Yuta's elbow drop. I've just, like, after you see Kairi Sane's elbow drop, there's nothing better. There's absolutely nothing better. I would go as far to say even Bailey's elbow drop is better than Yuta's.
Mm-hmm. So would you have ended it with the roll up?
No, he's trying to get revenge for his friend, so that doesn't make him look too strong. You need to, like, if you're gonna talk that much smack about somebody, about hurting your friend, you gotta win clean. So I just, if that's you, like, as because Yuta's style does certainly incorporate some lucha libre style for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I would have my finisher be something a little more flippy if he can do it. I don't like his elbow drop.
Flip out of the ring with that, ugly landing.
Maybe he has to work on his lucha libre style. I mean, from his promo package, he is well versed in strong style, obviously because it's Japan. He mentioned the lucha libre style. Maybe he learned the lucha libre style from a couple Japanese wrestlers, because a lot of a lot of Japanese wrestlers go on excursion to Mexico. So maybe he picked it up from there. I don't know. Yuta. So Yuta wins. Yuta. All right. Hear me out on this. I think Yuta tries to be a flippy man, like a flippy-ish man. I
Okay.
don't think I don't think it suits him. Like being the smaller guy, yeah, you think it would suit him. I don't think like I don't know. It doesn't like Lucha Libre when I see Ruler Utah and I think Lucha Libre like style incorporating the Lucha Libre style in his set. I don't feel it. But maybe that's just me.
Um, I don't know enough about like this is literally the only thing I've seen that I can think
Mm-hmm.
of. Um, so I think jury for me is still a bit out.
Well,
Um,
well, maybe
but like I said, I enjoyed this episode the
yeah.
most of the three of
Yeah,
them.
maybe I'll feel more I'll feel more strongly about it once we watch the next episode, which is Corey. What's his face again? I've never heard of this guy.
Corey Hillis, I think his
Let
name
me
was.
take a look at the Dojo Pro
Hollis.
Hollis. I have never heard of this man. Ever. Ever.
Ever?
Ever. He looks. Apparently, he's a journeyman wrestler that
Well,
has competed in every major wrestling promotion.
according to the the Dojo Pro website, his finisher is a satellite crossface shining wizard. So we have that to look forward to.
Interesting. So before we get to the next episode, we're talking about what's to come. Wheeler Yuta wins by elbow drop, is interviewed, does a whole inspirational interview thing, and then walks off into the tunnel. I mean the end interview was okay. Just shows him, hey, I won. You know, take care of your
Yeah, I
bullies.
think it's still the strongest face they've had so far.
Yes.
I mean, 3 episodes in, like strongest a face has come off looking.
Yes, I do agree with that. Uh, how far do you think he gets?
I I'm gonna go out on a limb. I'm gonna say he will not get eliminated by Corey.
Okay.
I don't think he beats Joey.
Joey is like I consider Joey a draw because of this list. Other than and we have to think this is pre AEW, so before this,
Mm-hmm.
MJF was not really on the radar. The only people that I would consider that were on the radar would be Jeff Cobb, Shane Strickland, Joey Janela, and James Storm. The others I
Okay.
could have done without. Now Ricky Starks is great, but we didn't know that back then. I didn't know anything about this man back then, but he's very good. But yeah,
Watch Corey Hollis is gonna win this whole fucking thing. Well, I don't know who this guy is, and then fucking
just
he's
wipes out everybody,
black belt.
suplexes Jeff Cobb. I don't know. Um. Okay, so now that we're at the end, what did you think about? What did you like about this? Let's just summarize. What did you like about this episode?
I think the opening was strong with that package. I think it was the best package they've had so far. The match, even though they were a little out of sync here and there, I think the story was good. Gunnar Miller's power moves looked believable.
Especially with the smaller man,
I,
yeah.
yeah, like that was all, pretty solid work. And then, yeah, I just think of the three matches, this is the one that probably had the best storyline, the best story told during the match. And yeah, you knew going into it that the ending was going to be Gunnar trying to be, a dick again and it biting him in the ass.
Yeah.
But that being said, sometimes, just because it's predictable doesn't mean it's bad.
Exactly. Yeah, I agree with you. The promo package was strong. The match was pretty good. The ending was very predictable. The yeah, I just like this episode like the best of the three so far. What would you improve about this? Like what you didn't like?
Um, I like.
I would. I don't know. I mean, do you think Wheeler got too much offense in?
Like at the beginning there, I did think it was a little weird that he got the opening advantage, you know, um, especially after like I want to say his first couple moves were like shoulder blocks.
Yeah, he did a lot of
against
shoulder
Gunner.
tackles.
And it's like, why would you even try
No,
that?
I mean, yeah, you're
know?
right. You're like, this guy is much, much bigger than you. You are a stick.
So it may have been better to let Gunner, like really work him over for a bit, and then Wheeler can show like one of those fiery babyface comebacks.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Would have worked better, but I didn't really have much of an issue. Other than, but yeah, now I think about it more, that was stupid. Like those first couple of shoulder blocks, I was like, what the hell are you doing, guy? Like,
yeah, I think like the commentator. Now I'm thinking back on it, did mention like Wheeler has to use his speed. Okay.
End up being like when he did get the advantage there at the beginning, it was because like I said he threw that low drop kick and he was bouncing off the ropes and coming and using that advantage. But at the beginning, it's like I feel like after that first shoulder block, Gunner probably should have just like knocked his head off and ragdolled him a little bit.
Yeah, Gunner sold a lot in the beginning. Like he looked like he sold like he was getting rocked hard, and I'm just like, didn't you play football?
Like maybe, like yeah, that's supposed to make you the best wrestler ever, right? Like maybe they were trying to play up like he was underestimating Wheeler.
Maybe.
But yeah, I think I would have liked it better if Gunner got the advantage there.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, other than that, I didn't really have too many complaints. I remember there being some like some ring talk while they were wrestling. It was okay. I mean,
but that "People's Coward" chant didn't come back.
No, it didn't. I'm very, very looking forward to the Joey Janela match because we know how charismatic Joey can be and how and it's a 30-minute episode now. I'm looking at the whole list, so there's got to be some really good stuff in there. I can't wait for that. And if it's against Yuta too, I can see them having some. They've wrestled before. I mentioned there was a tag match with Yuta and someone. And then Joey and Orange Cassidy. I assume they've all wrestled before and they know each other pretty well. So I just assume the chemistry is going to be good, but who knows at this point?
That always works out.
Yeah. Okay.
Assuming it's never blown up in anyone's face.
What would you rate this match out of 5 stars?
I'm afraid to go too high, and then
I
rate it.
Huh?
But I would say 3.5.
Yeah, I was gonna hit around there too. I was gonna rate 3.5 as well. Great story. There's a great story being told. I'd say it gets knocked off a little bit because of they didn't exactly have the best chemistry, but there was still something there, and it's wrestling, so it was good for what it was. It was pretty good for the story, and a lot of things in wrestling is a story. Like sometimes a really good story can make a subpar match seem pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
All right. That was about it. Next time we will talk about Corey Hollis versus White Belt. White Belt being Wheeler Yuta now.
Be the greatest wrestling match of all time.
It could very well be the greatest wrestling match of all time. We don't know. But seeing that I've never heard of Corey Hollis, and like nobody's ever talked about this match. I'm gonna hold my breath for that. I absolutely cannot wait until we get to the Brandon Cutler match, because it's gonna be like, who the hell is this guy?
Well, I mean, we're definitely getting into like the teeth of the series now. You know what I mean? Like everyone from here on out is, we know, whether we knew at the time or not, are great athletes and hell of performers. So it should be pretty good from here on out.
All right. Well. Well, thank you, Ryan, for joining me again. I look forward to talking to you next week about Corey Hollis.
New favorite wrestler, Corey Hollis.
He could be. I mean, he could just be that charismatic and awesome. He's wrestled everywhere.
I mean, I'm gonna go on Pro Wrestling Tees as soon as we get off this and see if there's any Corey Hollis.
Well, he is wearing a shirt in his photo, so he definitely has some merch. Unless he doesn't sell it, and he's not that confident in himself. I don't know. Thank you for joining us. Thank all of you. Yeah. What are you gonna say?
That classic marketing technique where you say no one's allowed to have one, and then they all want one.
The reverse psychology technique. I see.
Mm-hmm.
I see. All right. Thank you for joining me. Thank everybody else for listening to this. I don't know why you would listen to this. If you want to listen to the other episodes, they're in the playlist. It's at the end. I have a link. There are links at the end of the video because of cards and stuff. So, yeah. Thank you.